Is the hostage deal and ceasefire plan in Israel a good deal? That's a multi-layered question that has many different layers of emotion to it. And people of goodwill across the world, Jews and non-Jews alike, are scratching their heads and wondering, is this really a good deal? On the one hand, we're overjoyed that some of the hostages are being released and finally, after so long, rejoining their families. On the other hand, Hamas still remains in power in the Gaza. And secondly, many terrorists that already have Jewish blood on their hands are going to be given back to Hamas with probably more charge to be more fired up to do even more terrorist activities. Check out this clip from Naftali Bennett, former Prime Minister of Israel, for his take on the situation.
Sir, Naftali Bennett, sir, your reaction to what Trey just reported?
You know, in Israel, we have a fundamental principle that we don't leave anyone behind. And as a former soldier and commander and the Prime Minister of Israel, this is really at the core of what makes Israel strong, is that solidarity. This is a heart-wrenching decision, make no mistake, because they're gonna release only third of the hostages, while we have 2/3 who are gonna remain hostages for the time being. And there's a considerable price here, but we're bracing ourselves for difficult days to embrace these hostages that are being released and bring them home.
Explain to me the mechanics of the political side of this, as this is something that Trey just touched on in his live report. This is tomorrow a.m. The Supreme Court, that's one component, the Israeli Supreme Court, but also the Israeli Security Cabinet. They've got to vote. They've got to accept the terms of the deal, and then Israel's parliament as well. Are you confident that those are going to be yes votes? And this passes through all of these.
The Supreme
hurdles?
Court will certainly confirm, so will the government. It doesn't require the parliament. The Knesset does not have to vote, so this is going to pass. There may be some opposition in the cabinet, but it's going to pass.
In your opinion, is this a good deal that Netanyahu is moving forward with?
Look, I don't want to second guess the current government. It's an agonizing decision to make under tremendous pressures. I've been in that seat. I know how hard it is to govern Israel. There'll be a time and place to analyze how we reach this point, because to be honest, we had set 3 objectives and we've not yet met those objectives. It was defeating Hamas, replacing Hamas as the governing entity of Gaza, and bringing home all the hostages. So we're a year and 2 months in and we've not yet achieved that. So I think at this point, it's already fait accompli. This deal is done. And now we have to prepare to receive these hostages, begin the long process of, getting back on our feet. Israel will persevere. That I can promise you. We're a strong nation, and ultimately we're going to defeat Hamas.
You are a strong nation. I agree with that 100%. But I have a question, though, with regards to the structure of the deal, because what about Gaza now? Because does this effectively give Hamas back Gaza? I mean, Benjamin Netanyahu said repeatedly after October 7th that the elimination of Hamas was the goal. Does this agreement actually complete that?
No, it doesn't. For the time being, Hamas, unfortunately, remains the sovereign or the governing entity of Gaza. That's a bad thing. That's a part of the meaningful price of this deal. However, after 42 days, Israel will be able to continue to pursue the removal of Hamas. And I know both the outgoing and incoming administrations in the United States totally support the replacement of Hamas in Gaza. We're going to have to do that.
Didn't mean to interrupt you, but what did you make of Steve Witkoff's participation in these negotiations? He is President-elect Donald Trump's nominee, of course, to be Middle East envoy, but he was already in the ground in Doha and Qatar in a piece of this. We had our President Joe Biden last night take credit, and rightly so, for putting together the structure of the deal. It seems that the deal that's in place now was pretty much what Joe Biden had put together and the UN had voted for at the beginning of last summer. Final word on that.
Well, we're thankful to President Biden and to incoming President Trump. Clearly, Trump's involvement had a meaningful impact that's obvious to anyone who looks at it. All I can say is that in Israel, while we can only try and celebrate life, even amid the huge price that we're paying, on the other side of the border in Gaza, we're seeing huge celebrations of death. And people chanting, we're going to continue October 7th, live Yahya Sinwar. This is what we're dealing with. We're undaunted. We are strong. We will defeat Hamas. It'll take maybe longer than we had hoped, but we ultimately are fighting for life, for good, and good will prevail.
All right. Thank you, Naftali, for joining us.
Ultimately, yes, good will prevail, and Israel is a strong nation. It is sad that Hamas celebrates death, and you see people right now rejoicing in Gaza over death and the continuance of pursuing death and wanting to pursue further terrorist activities. We are, on the other hand, very happy, very elated, very full of joy that some of the hostages are slowly trickling back to Israel, and may they all soon come back to their rightful place. If you like this content overall, hit that subscribe button over there in the corner. Love to stay in touch with you. Take care.